Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, the Vroom channel. Today's video is going to be an informative one, and it's going to show you how to do a minor service on your car, specifically this car. This is a 2007 model Vw Polo 1.6. It's an 8-valve engine, but I'm sure most of them are the same, and in fact for most cars it's pretty much the same. You drain the oil, you put on your new oil filter, your new air filter, and your new plugs. Now, normally you would do your fuel filter also, which lies just there underneath. Really simple to take it off, just 2 clips, and then you put the old one back in. But the fuel filter was done on the last service, so there's no need to do it every service. It's recommended that you do it every 3rd service or 45,000 Ks. This one only has done about 15,000 Ks, so there's no need to change that. Anyway, let me just show you what you need to do the service. Okay, so you're going to need some oil firstly. Now, I like to use the Shell Helix HX7 10 watt 40. You can use Magnatec also. Just make sure it's 10 watt 40. This is partly synthetic. Then you need your oil filter, your air filter. The brand, that just depends on you. I just bought my stuff from Midas. You can also have a look at Goldwagon or even VW themselves. Then I got some nice NGK plugs, and with a Polo you're going to need a 29mm socket or spanner to remove the oil filter. You can, however, try it with your hand if you're strong enough, but this is much easier. Then this is my plug spanner. I need a screwdriver to take out the air filter, and then I got my catch can here and a 17mm spanner or socket to get the sump plug out. And just to make my life easier, I'm going to jack the car up so I can fit underneath a lot easier. But as the oil is draining out, then I'm going to drop the jack so it drains out every last bit. Then I'll jack it back up and I'll put the sump plug back on. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get to it. One thing to note before we start, so it's good to do this when your engine is a little bit warm. That way the oil is thinner and can drain out easier. So I've taken the car on a small drive, like a 10-minute drive. Then I brought it back home and I just let it sit here for 5-10 minutes just to make it cool enough. And then by then all the oil has settled down at the sump. So it'll be cool enough now for me to work on it. But it also went all around the engine and came down to the sump now. Because like I said, when it gets hot, then the oil gets thinner. So it can flow better. So right now, the oil should be warm. It's not going to be cold. If I start the car now, you'll even see we're not going to get a cold start. It'll be a normal start. See what I mean? See where the revs are? So that's a normal start. And you can see that the inspection light is on. So after I do the service, then I will be turning that off as well. I apologize for the dogs barking. Okay, so the car is jacked up. I put a rim there just in case it falls down. But yeah, we can go underneath now. Okay, so this is underneath the car. You can see right here, that's the sump, and then there's the nut in the back here. It's a 17mm, okay? And it's a good chance for you to also just check the sump if it's leaking. As you can see, this car, it's not really leaking. It is sweating a little bit, but there's no oil leak, so that's a good thing. If you do have a leak, then you should probably get that fixed. But yeah, this car is good to go. So I'm just going to loosen that nut and then let it fall in my catch can here. Okay, so I actually made a mistake with the spanner. It's actually a 19 spanner, not a 17. Anyway, I went and got one. And remember to pull this way towards the driver's side wheel, right hand side, okay? Pull that way and you can see it is loosening up. So I'm just going to cut the video here because I'm sure you don't want to see this. This is quite boring. Oh, there you go. So the oil feels quite warm actually, even through those gloves, which I'm actually quite happy about because it means it's going to flow better. But you can see this oil is a bit thin, and that's because this car did about 16,000 Ks with that oil. So we really pushed it to the last minute, you know. But anyway, it should get some fresh oil just now, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so now you can see there's very little oil dripping out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my jack so that it can flow just a little bit easier. Let's hope I don't make a mess. Okay, I'm just going to go check on this. Make sure it's not making a mess there. Yeah, that's perfect. And you can see it is flowing a little bit better now. So I'm just going to leave that. And in the meantime, we can start with the other stuff. Okay, so while that oil is draining, we're going to do the air filter. So with these Polos, it's very simple to take the air box out. The air box is also the engine cover. So you just pick this up like so, this side also, and don't forget to remove the breather pipe. Just pull that out, simple as that, and then lift this up, and that's about it. So this is your engine cover and your air filter. Okay, so to remove the air filter is very simple. Air filter lives in this compartment here. So all you got to do is follow the numbers. So right here, it has number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 here. So you can just take your screwdriver. It's a star screwdriver or Phillips, whatever you like to call it. And you just undo the screws, simple as that. I'm not going to show you this because, I mean, it's undoing screws. You just have to follow the numbers and do that. Very simple. The screws don't come off all the way, so don't panic if it's not coming off. That's how it's supposed to be. Now, I'm quite lazy, so I'm just going to use one of these. This will be much quicker for me. Okay, so I've counted 11 screws altogether. This is number 11 right here. And as you can see, they don't come off all the way, and that's fine. So then you just try to lift this up. Easier said than done with one hand only. Okay, these clips here are actually holding it back. There you go. Alright. So there's the oil filter. Quite dirty, but not too bad actually. I'm going to remove my gloves for this one so that I don't mess up the oil filter. And then what you guys can do, you can just clean this up also. Just take a dry cloth and just get all these small pieces of sand out. Clean up that section there. I mean, you know, the obvious. And then some of these filters come with a new gasket here. So I'm going to remove the old one and put this one in. Okay, so we got our champion filter here. And as you can see, it looks exactly the same as the old one. No difference at all. Okay. And So you can see this Champion filter doesn't come with that plastic gasket that goes around here. So it's a good thing that I didn't take that out. But some filters do come with that gasket, okay? But it's very simple to take out. You can see it comes out just by hand. And then you just pop the new one back in there. So not difficult at all. Okay, so now it's time to put the new filter back in, sorry. Very simple, just goes in there. Quite tightly actually. Like so. And then just make sure, can you see how that goes in there? Come on, focus. There, just like that. So just make sure the entire filter is in properly like that. But yeah, it's a Vw Polo, very easy car to do a service. So we got our nice fresh filter. And then we can just pop that back in. Like so. And then it's as simple as just tightening the screws. Try to follow the numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Go in order, okay, if you can. Okay, so now we're on to the plugs. So this is a 4-cylinder car, therefore it has 4 plugs. Now there are some cars that have 2 plugs per cylinder, but with like 99% of cars they have 1 plug per cylinder. Right, so I'm just going to start from the top here. Now you can remove all one time, remove everything one time, and then put everything back one time. But I prefer to do it one at a time, and this way you won't lose track of where the leads go. Because if you put this lead on that one, the car won't run right, okay? So I like to do this, it's safer. And remember, I'm not a mechanic, so yeah, I prefer to do this. So just grab a hold of it, wiggle it around, and pull it out. Simple as that. Right? And there you can see our old spark plug. There's a lot of dirt here. This car does need an engine wash, but yeah, I can do that another time. Anyway, I get my tube plug socket in there, and then you just turn anti-clockwise to loosen. And again, easier said than done when you only have one arm to use. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, there you go. So that metal part that's normally here, it's broken off, so that's why I'm just using a screwdriver. There you go. Okay, got my spark plug out. Now let's wait for this thing to focus. As you can see, it's burning a little bit brown, which is a good thing. Brown is a good thing. Okay, so old spark plug out. Let's get the new one back in. Now this is the important part. So when you're putting it back in, please make sure that you get it in correctly. You don't want to be cross-threading this, because if you do, you're going to damage the cylinder head, and then somebody needs to come and put new threads there. So you really don't want to cross-thread this. So tighten it by hand first, okay? And then you can use your plug spanner. So that's my tip of the day. Tighten with your hand first. Okay, like so. And the engine is not too hot, so this is fine. Now that I've tightened it with my hand, I can feel that it went in properly. There's no issues. Then I get my plug spanner, and then I can tighten it properly. So remember, it must be tight, but not over tight, okay? You don't want to damage your cylinder head. Then I'll just bring my screwdriver in just to get it a little bit tighter. And there you go, that should be it. Now you do the exact same thing for the next three. It's exact same way, okay? And then we're just gonna put our lead back in. Make sure you can hear that small clicking noise. You can hear it or you can feel it. And that's about it. Now you do the same for the rest. Okay, so now that the plugs are in, let's go to the air filter. Okay, so the air filter is next to the alternator. You can see it right here. I think actually I must go from underneath. I think I should get a better view from there. Yeah, let me do that rather. Okay, so I decided to bring a plastic packet because I know there will be some mess. So anyway, I'm underneath the car now. There's an alternator, and here's the oil filter. You can see it's sweating a bit. In fact, it's leaking a little bit. Anyway, I'll get my spanner in there. Should be a 29 or 30. Let's try my 30. And again, a little bit difficult with one hand only. So just excuse the angles. Anyway, here's the alternator, here's the exhaust, oil filter right here. Okay, so I try to get in a better position for you. Hopefully you guys can see this. To be honest, I think I've already loosened it a bit. There you go, you can see. So I'm sure my hand will do a good enough job. And unfortunately, there you go, look at that. It's coming off quite easily with my hand. So you just turn this anti-clockwise, okay? So it is leaking oil, so I better get my packet. I've decided to just put the dish underneath. So here goes. And you can see it's already starting to drip. Now it's going to drip a lot. You can see it coming loose. Just turn anti-clockwise. Now remember, this oil filter will be full of oil, okay? So try not to drop it on your face. There you go. Come on, sucker. The Polo oil filter is not in a very nice position. And there you go. Now there will be a mess, so make sure you clean that up, and then I'll show you how to put the new one back. Okay, so before putting your oil filter, this is what you need to do, okay? So you get your oil filter out, put it this way. Dip your finger in some oil, like so, and just put this on the rubber so that it gets a nice seal. Don't be shy, you can put enough. Some people like to fill the oil filter, but with this car you don't want to do that because it's just going to leak out as you're putting it back in. Okay, so that's enough. Now let's go ahead and put it on. Okay, so I managed to get the oil filter back in. Where is it? I can't even find it. Oh, there it is. So I tried from the top and I couldn't. So I'm gonna put it back just the way I took it out. Now, just remember, the oil filter doesn't need to be very tight, okay? It must be hand tight. So just start tightening up very slowly, and I can already feel it starting to get tight. So just go a little bit more. Like I said, it doesn't have to be very tight, okay? Now, just gonna bring some tissue because the oil filter did get some oil on it, so it's a bit slippery. There you go. Just wipe it off and give it one last turn. There you go, that should be it. And then the next step is to put the sump drain plug back in. You can see it's still dripping a little bit there. Okay, and finally for the drain plug, so just gonna wipe off any dripping oil. And then we'll just get our sump plug. Now, some oil filters come with a new sump plug, but unfortunately this one that I just bought now did not come with a sump plug. But it's not the end of the world. You can just use the old one. That's still fine. Just remember, when you are loosening it, it was towards the driver's side, so now it's going to go towards the passenger side. And just like the plugs, make sure you tighten it by hand first to ensure you do not cross thread it. Very important. You really don't want to cross thread this. Okay, so the sump plug must be a bit tight, okay? Unlike the oil filter, this must be a little bit tight. Don't ask me how many Newton meters, I don't know. Okay, that should be that. Alright, so now we're going to fill some oil and then we can check for any leakage or anything like that. Okay, so now for just about the final part, filling in your oil. Here's my version of a funnel. So these 1.6 Polos usually take about 4 liters, but I'm going to fill about 3.5, and then I'll lower the car down and then measure it. But in fact, let me just fill a little first and then look for any leaks. So I'm just gonna fill up, I don't know, maybe a liter. Then let's take a look underneath. And that looks perfect. I don't see any leaks whatsoever, and if I feel here, it feels dry, and the same with the oil filter, no leaks and it feels dry. So I think now we can drop the car down and then we can keep checking the level. That's the old oil, by the way. Doesn't look too bad actually. There's no metal flakes or anything, so that's good. So yeah, let's drop the car down. And let's get back to fill in some oil. Okay, so that level is pretty much perfect, and I think I'm just going to leave it like that. If I need more, then I can always top off, but it's looking fine to me. Okay, so let's get to the next part. You can keep this right here. Let's close this so no dust and dirt gets in. Now we just need to get our airbox. And we can just pop that on, which is very simple. All you have to do is line up the oil cap to this hole and then just push it down like so. And then don't forget your breather pipe, if I can find it. Okay, fell down. Let's try and get that. Wow, this is very difficult to get. Okay, there's my breather pipe. Plug it back in there. Right, so we drain the oil, we put new oil, we put a new oil filter, we put new plugs, we put a new air filter. So in theory, the car should start right up. And it does. Perfecto. The last thing for me to show you is the inspection light. I'm going to turn that off just now. I'm just going to let this idle for a while, and then I'm going to recheck the oil level, and I can add some oil if I need to. And one thing, guys, just remember, this old oil, don't just throw it down the drain. That's not right. Every town has a recycling center, so please take it there and you can get it recycled. Okay, so to reset your service light, all you do is you remove the key first, then you press and hold your clip button, then you turn your key back on, and then you twist this to the right, and then you remove your key. Now when I turn my key back on, as you can see, service light reset. So the inspection light or service light will come back on after 15,000 Ks or 1 year, whichever comes first, because the minor service must be done every 15,000 Ks or 1 year. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I've done the service and I've reset the light. So that's your minor service that you've basically done by yourself. Now you might be wondering, I mean, like, why would I do it myself when it doesn't cost all that much at a mechanic or a shop? That may be true, but I mean, it's about the joy of doing it yourself. And I mean, you're still saving money. I got a quote for this car to do the same things that I just did now for 500 bucks. Now 500 bucks is not a lot of money. That's like about $40 if you convert it to American dollars. It's like $40 or something, so it's not that much money, but the fact is I saved it and I got to work on my car myself, you know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully you guys find this video useful. If you did find it useful, please like it and share it, and yeah, also subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.